As soon as I start filming, the cars start to come. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Azaria. You can call me AJ. I know it's a little weird to go from Sakura to surgery, but that's how it is because my life is not all that interesting. This video is all about my experience of having surgery here in Japan. I figured it would be informative, so I hope this video helps you out if you ever find yourself in the situation of needing medical care here in Japan. This is probably going to be a very long video, so I have timestamps down below if you're interested in only certain parts of the video. Trigger warning for anybody that does not like blood or surgery or like incisions or IVs, or if you are squeamish in any way, you might not want to watch this video. I'm not going to put in a lot of footage because I don't actually have a lot of it, but there are a few photos of my incision and some IVs and stuff, so if you are squeamish, just a trigger warning. Now, you may be wondering, AJ, you're so young, so beautiful. Why would you ever need surgery? Well, my equally as beautiful and equally as young viewers, my thyroid got way too big. So, a thyroid, my voice keeps cracking. So, a thyroid, oh my gosh, a thyroid is a gland in your neck that controls thyroid hormones that then control how your body regulates energy and how fast your metabolism is and all that jazz. Now, that's a very simplified explanation. I'm no expert. Please talk to a doctor about it or Google if you want more information on the thyroid. Thyroid cysts, or nodules as they're sometimes called, it's a very common issue with women. And both my mom and my aunt had thyroid nodules and they got too big, so they both had their thyroid taken out as well. So I think it might be hereditary as well, but don't quote me on that. Anyways, my thyroid started growing these cysts, and I'll put a before and after, maybe you can see the difference. And these cysts have a chance to be cancerous as well. And if you don't know much about me, I'm a childhood cancer survivor, and when my mom started noticing the signs that she had when she had this thyroid issue, she freaked out, right? Because when you have cancer once, it's very easy to get it again. So she was freaking out. She told me to go to the doctor. So 5 years ago, I went to the doctor to get everything checked. They were big then, and I also got a biopsy. Everything was fine, right? Levels were fine. I didn't have any kind of sickness. There was no cancer, nothing. They were just getting slightly larger. But at that point, they weren't big enough to really do anything about it. So they've grown ever so slightly. Well, they've probably doubled in size since 5 years ago. So they've grown slowly over the last 5 years, to the point where they started pushing out of my throat. They would put pressure on my arteries, so I would get lightheaded sometimes. I couldn't sleep on the side of my head. I couldn't sleep on my side without it pressing in. It was really uncomfortable. I had a cough all the time because it was pushing on my airways, and swallowing was getting difficult as well. To start the whole process of getting everything removed, because at this point I was totally over it, right? Too big, uncomfortable, I wanted it out. You have to see a doctor. Now, in Japan, you can't go straight to a hospital. You have to go to a clinic, and then they have to introduce you to a hospital. Hospitals are large and for special treatment, so they can't just take walk-in appointments. That's why there's so many clinics here in Japan. So I found a clinic about an hour away from my house that specialized in my issue, had a doctor that knew a lot about it, and I went in and he did a whole exam, took some blood, checked hormones, and then he did an ultrasound and he measured everything. Now, I had 2 prominent nodules, one on each side, and they were about, one was 2 centimeters and one was 2.5 centimeters. They were very large. He was concerned and he listened to my request of wanting it to be removed, and oh my gosh, he was the best doctor ever. I've never felt so comfortable in my life with a doctor. He listened to me. He had the same concerns. It was great. Anyways, he was like, you need a specialist. And I was, cool. So he introduced me to the hospital that was down the street from them. I went in to see the specialist, who was a very nice lady, and who I didn't know at the time was also the surgeon. So I had been talking to the surgeon the entire time. It was very nice. She told me everything I needed to know. The day I get introduced is the day that I go in for my appointment, and the doctor asked the specialist, right? The doctor asks all the important questions, and she does her own, ultrasound and everything, and then she says, I need to check your vocal cords. And I said, okay, I don't think there's anything wrong with my vocal cords. Is it necessary? She didn't actually answer the question. She's just like, we need to check. So I said, okay. So she stuck this long camera, right, up my nose and down my throat. It was, I never want to do that again. It was like a COVID test, but it kept going. It was so bad. Then she was like, you're all good. And I was like, I knew that already, but thanks. Then she said that we'll have to take a biopsy to check for cancer. And I was like, cool, that's awesome. That's what I came here for. And I said, yes. And she's like, okay, follow me to the back. And I was again like, what? In America, the last time that I got my biopsy done, I had to see my doctor, who then referred me to a specialist. And then the specialist told me to get an appointment with the biopsy people. And then I got the biopsy done. It was like 3 appointments, right? Just to get a biopsy done. And here, it was like, oh yeah, we'll do it really quick. Like, follow me into the back. So I lay down. It really hurt because there was no anesthetic, but it was done real quick. So I was fine. 2 weeks later, I went back for the result, all clear again. Yay. But the cysts were still really large. And the doc said that recommended removal is at 3 centimeters. I was so done with this stupid lump in my neck that I was like, I want the surgery now. And I asked, how soon can you do it? Because I figured at that point it was either wait for the cyst to get even larger or develop into cancer. And by then I might be back in America poor as hell with no medical insurance. So I figured I'm gonna take what I can get here. So I scheduled the appointment for the surgery a month later. It was really fast. She ordered a bunch of tests for a full body physical to make sure that I could withstand the anesthetic and the surgery itself. I did blood tests, x-rays, and an EKG. Then, 2 days before my admittance date, I had to go back in for a CT scan of my neck and also a COVID test. So after all the tests were taken, they explained to me what the process would be for being admitted into the hospital. Rules and all that, along with forms I had to fill out. The plan was to be admitted a day before surgery. From what I can gather, it was for observation and to make sure that I didn't eat anything. And then surgery day. And after that, 10 to 14 days in hospital. Again, probably for observation and hormone balancing and all of that. 2 weeks. Up to 2 weeks in the hospital. I was shocked, to say the least. In America, you go in your day of surgery and you're out the next day. My mom was shocked too. But after everything was done, I'm so glad that I stayed. I'm so glad that I stayed those days in the hospital because I would not have been able to take care of myself. No. So a month later, admittance day. We got to the hospital I dropped off my amenities form. I got a jinbei. And now I'm in my jinbei. This is the hospital gown. And it's a little wrinkled, but... Then I checked in. We got to the floor I'd be staying on, and the nurse was like, "What room would you like? There's a single available." And I was confused because when I filled out all my forms, I told them that I wanted a 4-person room to save money, right? But they mentioned because a 4-person room wasn't available at the time, I could stay in a single room for no extra cost. So first night in the hospital in a single room was rough. Good morning. It's currently 7:30. I woke up at 5 today. I did not sleep well at all. Partly because this pillow is literally just beans. I hate these pillows. They do this at hotels too. I think it's just because it's easier to wash. But gosh, it's so uncomfortable. Everything else was fine. The pillow was not good. I also couldn't fall asleep. So there's that. I haven't eaten since last night, as I thought they would make me do. And I can only drink anything until 9. And then after that, I'm completely not allowed to eat or drink. Other than that, everything's normal. I'm sure that nurses come in at certain points and do all the measurements in America too. So I've had nurses come in a couple times for like blood pressure and all that. I'm all good. Everything is as usual. The anesthesiologist came to visit yesterday too, talked about all the risks and stuff. Very informative. And yeah, that's about it. I just have to wait around until my surgery now, so wish me luck. I just got my IV in. Can you see it? So I got my IV in. The nurse, I think, was a new nurse. So there were 2 people. And the nurse that put it in couldn't find a vein for a while. And I think she was a student or brand new, so she hadn't done this many times. But I mean, it hurt, but everybody's got to practice, right? So IVs aren't fun, but I guess they just have me on liquids and stuff because I won't be able to drink. I gotta stay hydrated somehow. Then came 12, my appointment with the knife. They had me walk myself right into the surgery room and right onto the table. It was so weird. Aren't they supposed to wheel you in on a bed? Like, that's what they do in all the movies, right? But I guess not in Japan if you can walk. That's when I started to get nervous. I started, like, the anxiety was like going through, but I took a deep breath. I calmed myself down, and it was okay. I laid myself down on the table. They asked, the usual, what's your name? Why are you here? Just to make sure they have the right person, right? We don't want any wrong things being cut out. They put a little gas mask. I guess not really gas mask. You know those, like at the dentist when they give you the laughing gas? That kind of mask. And I was knocked out. I was gone. After this was the hard part. So this is the part I hated the most. I woke up in the ICU about 6 hours later. Now I knew I was going to be in the ICU for observation, so there was nothing wrong. I wasn't going to die. Just ICU for observation. I have never had a more uncomfortable 12 hours of my entire life. I hurt everywhere. I was just so uncomfortable. There were weird massage things on my legs, like wrapped around my legs to prevent blood clots from the anesthesia. I had a catheter because I wasn't allowed to move. I had a cannula, which when I was younger we called tubies, for oxygen. My neck, as you can see, hurt like hell. I went to a really dark place. I don't think I've ever been so miserable in my life. And it wasn't the doctor's fault, and it wasn't the nurse's fault. That's just surgery. It hurts. But I really wasn't expecting it. I don't know what I was expecting after surgery, but that wasn't it, and I hope I never have to do it again. Did you know that your back can hurt from laying down for too long? I didn't. My back hurt so bad after a couple hours. The nurses tried to help by using a pillow to kind of prop me up on my side, and I was allowed to move my upper body as much as I could to stop the pain. And I kept waking up every hour on the hour because of some beep that went off, or the nurses were checking my IV medicine, or lights were going off. It was not fun. The next morning, after I proved I could walk, thank God, they cleaned me up and wheeled me right back into my single room, where I basically sat and stared at the wall for the whole day. That's it. I tried to watch YouTube, I tried to watch Netflix, I tried to sleep, but I just couldn't. And I was so tired, I was so uncomfortable, I was so out of it. I couldn't concentrate on anything. That night, 6 nurses busted into my room and were like, "I'm sorry, we need to put in another IV for antibiotics. And we also need to move you to the 4-person room." I was like, cool. I was so out of it. They were like, "Can you walk?" I was like, "No." Are you crazy? No, I'm so tired right now. And my neck was involuntarily spasming and seizing, so I couldn't relax. I kept tensing like this for some reason. I don't know why. It really hurt. But I was like, whatever, just move me, I'm fine. So I moved. That night I also barely got any sleep. I kept waking up in the middle of the night because the nurses would come in to check my medicine, but also bring in little flashlights, right? Okay, so day 4 is finally here. I barely ate any food because I just didn't have an appetite at all. I took 6 pills in the morning, most of which was calcium, and I tried to distract myself or nap because I was still tired. But then at 10:30, all of a sudden, I was red as f***ing rain. I don't know what it was, but I was totally awake. I felt amazing compared to the previous day. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I was so happy to just feel better. I ate most of my lunch that day, dinner too. Most of the stuff that I did outside of checks and seeing the doctor and whatnot was watch YouTube, try and watch Netflix, and Supernatural. I love Supernatural. And a lot of Sudoku. A lot. 70 puzzles. I kind of went crazy. Day 5. Doc came in to check on me and explained that they had to cut out half of my parathyroid as well when they took out my thyroid. So the parathyroid is what regulates the calcium in your blood. That's why I was on so many calcium pills and so many calcium IVs, because no calcium is very, very bad. She also said if the liquid from my drains decreased, I could get it taken out. And that's what these 2 dots are here. I had 1 IV bag left, and then that was out too. I was very happy. Day 6, got the drains removed. The weirdest feeling ever. Oh, I could feel them getting dragged out. It was so gnarly. Oh my gosh, not a fun feeling. I was finally able to shower. I still had the IVs in till the evening, but those got removed too. And oh my god, the shower was glorious. It was so nice. I can finally take a shower. Ah, look, it's wonderful. It's a shower. I'm so excited. I can wash my hair. They put this giant piece of tape over my gauze and everything. And then after the shower, I'll take it off. Oh my god, I'm so shiny. Ugh, I haven't properly showered in days. I've been being wiped down because I can't get this wet. Finally. Day 7, best sleep so far. I woke up clean and wide awake. The sleeping medicine they give at the hospital is no joke. Like, none. You don't get slowly more tired, nah. You just all of a sudden pass out. It's awesome. Doc came in again and checked my incision. She said that if my levels were good, they could take out the stitches. Mind you, this is only like 4 days after surgery. I was healing really fast. I also found out that I was allowed to walk around the hospital. So I booked it to the convenience store and I bought chocolate. Day 8, I got my stitches removed. 5 days after surgery. But my calcium levels were still really low, so I wasn't allowed to leave early. It sucked, but I had to stay for another 2 days to get another blood test and everything to check again. To cheer myself up, I scheduled a hair appointment and I bought more chocolate. I also wrote a cover letter for my job search because I'm an adult and I need to be productive as well. So day 9, nothing really. Got the haircut, Sudoku, and Supernatural. Yeah. Day 10, blood test and results. Results were good enough to go home. Yay. I was so happy, you have no idea. Even the doc was like, oh, you look so happy. And I thought I kind of felt guilty. I'm like, yes, I don't want to be here anymore. Day 11, I paid my bill. I got my medicine for 1 week. And my coworker came and picked me up from the hospital. I was free. I was so happy. I was so happy to feel the actual wind on my face and just be outside. Like, I am not an outside person, but it felt so good after 11 days to be outside with actual wind and actual sunlight. Oh, it was great. I had to go in for another checkup a week later. I'm assuming to make sure that all of my levels were good and all that. But I was in the outside world. It was great. And also, a 2-week incision update. It's very clean. Very clean. And my neck is so much skinnier. I'm so happy. Yeah, these are where the drains were. These two. And then here's the incision. I think it starts actually here. This is just something, I don't know. It's about, I want to say like 3 inches long. Yeah. But it's also very, very tight. Like, this is as far as I can lift my head. It's a little difficult to talk for a long time. Because the longer I talk, the tighter and tighter the muscles get. And so I have to like stop talking in the middle of my sentence to relax, and then I can talk more. I also noticed that I can no longer put my tongue to the back of my teeth. Like, it's really hard to do for some reason. Swallowing is a little bit difficult just because everything is so tight. I've been using a lot of vitamin E and drinking lots of tea. Okay, so Now I want to explain how payment works at the hospital. So Japan has single payer healthcare. You pay through your taxes, but it only covers treatment. This is very important to know the difference, right? So Japanese government healthcare only covers treatment and medicine. It does not cover room, food, and amenities like clothes and things if you don't bring your own. Also, one thing, it doesn't cover everything, right? So, for example, in England, the NHS, they cover all of it, right? Here in Japan, they only cover 70% of your treatment. So the 30% is up to you to pay, which it kind of sucks, but it's better than the US, so that's why I had my treatment done here. If you want room, food, and amenities covered, you totally can have it, but it's a separate insurance thing. So the reason I didn't have it was because, to be honest, I didn't think I was gonna need to be hospitalized while I was here. Like, it wasn't in my plans. So I didn't bother paying for another private health insurance. I only have the government health insurance, and that's fine by me. Another important thing to mention is if you are a resident here in Japan, there's a special document that you can receive from your town. I'm not exactly sure what it's called because no one actually told me the name. They just kind of explained how it worked. So I'm gonna explain how it worked, and then if you find yourself in this situation, you can ask about it. You can receive a document from your town that caps your payment per month at $1,000. One thing to note here is that it's only per month, right? It's not your entire treatment. It's only how much it costs to treat you for that 1 month. So if your treatment in June was over $1,000, but then your treatment in July was like only $100, you can only get back the money from the June because it was over $1,000. You get a refund for the difference after $1,000. So if you pay $1,500 in 1 month, you'll get the $500 back later, right? Later. That's another thing. You will have to pay it all at once at the start, but in a month or 2 months, they'll send you the money back. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of confusing. I didn't really understand it, so I hope I'm explaining it okay. If you have any more questions, you can leave them down in the comments and I can try and answer them after some research. My total for staying in the hospital for 11 days, surgery, medicine, food, amenities, and my room was just under $1,000 USD. And honestly, I had prepared a lot more money. I think I prepared like double. I think I prepared around $2,000 because that's kind of what I was expecting to have to pay. But no, it was pleasantly only just under $1,000 after insurance and all of that. My overall thoughts on this whole experience, having surgery here in Japan and medical care, is I am extremely pleased with everything. Like, extremely pleased. Everyone was so nice to me. Like, I speak a little bit of Japanese, but they really tried to kind of explain things in English sometimes. But then once they found out that I can speak simple Japanese, they automatically switched. They explained things in a very easy to understand manner. They always answered all of my questions. The nurses were super nice. My roommates, I don't know, I didn't really talk to them all that much, so they were fine. My doctor was awesome. She was great. She was super nice. She listened to all my concerns. She listened to all my complaints. She answered all of my questions. She used English sometimes when I really didn't understand something. She really tried. She also understood a little bit of English, which really helped. And everything was just really simple. Simple, easy. I was listened to. Things got done really quickly. I feel awesome. You know, it was just, yeah, it was great. So if you ever, need medical care here in Japan, it's awesome. Like, it's really nice. And I don't know, I can't thank them enough. So yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, and I will try and answer them to the best of my ability. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.